Everything was peaceful, everything was fine. I was in the garden, it was the month of August. I hear something making noise. I look and see something flying. It was about this size. I don't understand what it is. The neighbor says, "Grandmother Raya, don't go out in the garden. I'm asking you not to." And I say, "That's not near us, that's in Novoskovsk. Maybe it won't even come to us."
Previously, 77-year-old Raisa Isikova hoped that the war would never come to her hometown of Shyrokyne, near Mariupol. When soldiers arrived in the village, she had difficulty understanding who they were and which side they were fighting on.
And then half the village was DNR soldiers, and they didn't know who they were. Soldiers and soldiers, soldiers from one side, who were they? But no one came to our house. In the morning, I woke up early. I heard something stirring. Next to our house, we have an iron staircase on the veranda, so that you can go up. So I hear a noise. I go outside, and a soldier crawls out from there. I say to him, "Hey, what are you doing there?" He was rifle, not an automatic, but a rifle. And he says, "I was on duty here. I'm a sniper from the Stavropol Krai. I'm Russian." He explained it just so. I say to him, "Son, get away from here. They'll shoot us." I say, "There's empty houses. It's better to go there. We live here." And that was it. He wasn't there anymore.
On August the 4th, 2014, Shyrokyne came under massive shelling for the first time. At the beginning of active fighting in eastern Ukraine, there was almost 700 houses and around 2,000 residents here. The local school taught more than 100 children. It quickly became clear that staying in the village was extremely dangerous. In February 2015, the majority of Shyrokyne residents were forced to evacuate due to street fighting. They couldn't imagine that they would never return because the village was on the contact line. Now, entry into Shyrokyne is categorically forbidden. According to the military, they record 5 to 6 new shells every day. Not a single home is left. We were able to enter Shyrokyne only with an escort from the Ukrainian military. The last 19 residents were evacuated from the village in the summer of 2015. Raisa Isikova and her 82-year-old sister Anna were among them. They didn't have any wounds, but the pensioners survived 2 concussions. Once, during shelling, a shockwave threw Anna straight into the middle of the yard. Her legs were paralysed from the shock. Now she can't walk.
Our house was in line of fire, everything was broken. We sat there in the little corner.
It was scary. Immediately, when the shooting started, I couldn't even believe that something like this could happen. Very scary. When they started to shoot on the roof of the house rose, and then fell, the nails were sticking out like little mushroom cups. When we left, the village was already gone.
For residents of Shyrokyne, access to the village to collect things that survived the shelling depends on the decision of the command of the Mariupol Operational Tactical Group.
It happens with an official decision. You personally accompany people?
Yes, naturally they're not allowed in the middle of all this because, well, you can see for yourself that there could be, it's just necessary for the mine clearing group and everything else that there is here. Look, please, to the side.
Residents of Shyrokyne don't want to just see their village, they want to return and live there again. 3 years after the evacuation, the Shyrokyne community lives on in Mariupol. The majority of Shyrokyne's former residents are renting houses in the city's eastern district. They say that it's closer to the village, which is located 12 kilometers from Mariupol. From the balconies of the high-rises, they can sometimes see how the village is being shelled once again and how the houses are burning. The Mariupol Social Services Centre, which is responsible for families in crisis situations, says that around 1,000 former residents from Shyrokyne are registered in the city, and their community is significantly different from other immigrants.
If the others have hope that they will return, then of course the residents from Shyrokyne do too. But they've already all begun to realize that hope is very illusory. The biggest priority for all of them is either to return to their hometown of Shyrokyne or receive compensation for the property they lost and for the real estate they lost. Well, actually, for everything they lost.
Is it possible that people will receive their compensation?
Well, no, there isn't such a possibility, of course. There's no mechanism for assessing the damages, but this question doesn't just concern residents from Shyrokyne. It is a general concern of all people who today require an assessment procedure for these damages and for compensating all these people for what they lost.
After talking to some of the former residents of Shyrokyne, it became clear that compensation, which no one has proposed as of yet, primarily appeals to young families. Elderly people only dream of one thing: returning home.
I really want to go home and see what's there.
I want to go home and die on my own land. I don't want anything more.
Some couldn't survive the anguish after the evacuation. 77 Shyrokyne residents have already died of heart attacks and strokes. For them, Shyrokyne is lost forever.